Hello everybody, and welcome to this webinar on Epigeum's Good Clinical Practice Programme. Thank you for attending. I hope you find this webinar useful. I'm here with my colleague Sarah Vaughan. Sarah will be giving a demonstration of the course later on. This is our agenda. First of all, I'll give a background to Epigeum and talk about how we develop our programs. I'm one of the co-founders of Epigeum, so I can tell you the story about how we came to be. Then we'll talk about the need for this particular program, Good Clinical Practice. We'll give an overview of the program, talk about how to use the program at your institution, and then we'll give a demonstration where you actually see the course and get a real feel for what it's like. At the end, we'll have a Q&A session. So if you have any questions along the way, please type them into the text box on your screen, and we'll either try and answer them as we go through or we'll answer them at the end. So first of all, about Epigeum. So Epigeum is a fairly unusual company. It was founded in 2005 as a spin-out from Imperial College London and became part of Oxford University Press in 2015. So it came out of a university and it's now fully owned by Oxford University. So it's a non-for-profit, came out of the sector and is very much part of the sector. The company emerged from Imperial College. I run a department of educational technology at Imperial College. We wanted to build really great online courses. And what we realized was that it was too expensive for Imperial to do on its own. So we started to put together groups of universities who would work together and share the cost. And originally this was just to solve the cost problem. If everybody shared cost, it was cheaper for everybody. But what we learned was that when institutions, different universities work together, then the peer review process and the sharing of expertise leads to courses that are a much higher quality than an institution can build on its own. So that's what we started doing. We started putting together groups of universities to work with us to build courses. This became increasingly complex, as you imagine, and Epigeum was really formed as a way to manage this process, do all the contracting, the financials, all that stuff. And it did really well, and it grew and grew and grew and grew, and when it got to a bigger size, it then became part of the OUP. So now the company's been going for 11 years. It's the leading publisher of online courses designed to transform the way in which universities and colleges support their core activities of research, teaching and learning. So Epigeum doesn't do the core curriculum, but we do all the things that sit around the core curriculum. So how to do research, how to teach, how to study, etc. And of course here, good clinical practice, so compliance issues around medicine. The last bullet point here, we offer 78 online courses across 12 programs with 7 more in development. So we have lots of courses, not just the course we're talking about today. We're very international. So we've worked with over 260 universities worldwide and right across the world, from Fiji and New Zealand to Canada. You might be thinking, how can you possibly build a GCP course that's applicable everywhere? Well, we have versioning and country-specific examples to make sure that this course is very useful to you, whether you're in the UK or Malaysia or Australia. We touched briefly on the development process for the Epigeum courses. I'll now show you a short video which will give you a bit more information because Epigeum builds courses in a very unique way.
The story of an Epigeum course. We come up with an idea and we consult widely to develop and fine-tune it. We commission a team of expert authors to write it and a team of expert reviewers to help them. We commission a lead advisor who gives strategic vision and leadership. We bring together a team of universities who form a development group to give feedback on our plans and prototypes and to make sure that it meets their needs. The collaborations we build are drawn from across the world and often involve input from over 50 academics, as well as our team of in-house specialists. Because we believe that collaboration and iteration are the key to producing truly innovative and effective products. So we bring everyone together for a launch workshop at the start of each project. It's a great mixing pot where the creative juices can flow and expertise can be shared. We provide a week-long training course for our writing team to make sure they're able to get the best out of the online medium. And we provide plenty of opportunities for sampling and feedback along the way through a detailed peer review process. In fact, a typical product goes through at least 5 iterations before it's ready to be built by our in-house developers. Together, we're more than the sum of our parts, and our unique and rigorous product development process gives all collaborators access to groundbreaking courses they couldn't have created alone. Here's what some of our customers have to say. Our products are used by over 200 institutions in 25 different countries. To find out more about the collaborations we're currently building, click on the Next Steps button or get in touch with us direct. We'd love to work with you.
Okay, so I hope you've now got a feel for what Epigeum is and how we build courses. Just to confirm, we develop our courses with a group of up to 20 members. So I think that's exactly what happened for GCP. We put a large group of universities and NHS trusts together to build this course. That gives us money, and we then hire authors, and we look for the leading authors in the subject matter at hand. The courses then go through a meticulous review process, so thousands of comments which are all addressed to make sure the courses are appropriate for use, and appropriate for use in different contexts too. And the last part, Epigeum puts an enormous amount of effort into pedagogy, ensuring that courses communicate the concepts effectively. So now we talk specifically about the Good Clinical Practice program. Well, if you're watching this webinar, then you probably know the answer to this already. But the online course helps ensure your clinical trials comply with the ICH guideline for good clinical practice. It's approved by the Royal College of Physicians for a total of 7 distance learning CPD credits. It's developed in conjunction with leading UK medical schools and NHS trusts originally. We've also worked with equivalent institutions in Australia and elsewhere to make sure that country-specific versions are appropriate. And it meets the need for active learning. So as you'll see later when Sarah gives the demo, these courses are very interactive. It's not simply listing resources, which is the typical compliance mechanism. And what we found is that it's very difficult to learn lists of rules, very difficult to acquire knowledge by that approach. So we developed this active learning approach, and also an approach based on case studies, which we believe really promotes retention. So who is this course for? So it's for researchers working on medicines for human use, including research ethics committees, principal investigators, trial managers and research nurses. What we found is that these people are often mobile, they move around, they're extremely busy, and they really respond well to the availability of an online course as an alternative to face-to-face. So the course is very effective and very well designed, as you'll see, but it's also, the online medium is very appropriate for these people, and they respond very positively. Here's the list of learning outcomes. I'm sure these are issues that you're familiar with, and these are arranged into 5 online courses. So course 1 is Protocol and Associate Documents, course 2 is Applications, Agreements and Approvals, course 3 is the Trial Master Files, course 4 is Conducting the Trial, and course 5 is Safety Reporting. So the syllabus is a complete syllabus for good clinical practice training. Here's the team that put this together, mainly authors from Imperial College and Oxford University. Some of these people you may well know. And the feedback for this course has been potentially the most positive of any course we've done. So Epigeum courses usually score very high in these Likert scales, and this course has been particularly well received. So here's a couple of quotes. The course was excellent. I liked the video clips, and the course content for clinical trials was particularly useful for my future role as a clinical trial monitor for non-commercial trials and quizzes. I also found the course to be very interactive. I thought the course was very good. A very clear path is woven through the sometimes daunting rules, regulations and procedures. So take-up is high. People return to the course year after year, and it seems to be working very well. So how to use good clinical practice at your institution? Well, like all Epigeum courses, it can be used in three ways. So it can be a standalone course where you make the course available to your staff. They take it at the time they like, on-demand learning, and they inform you, or the system informs you when they've completed the course. The second way is to use tutor-supported online courses where you might take a group of delegates through the course together with a tutor who can respond to questions, guide them through the course, offer motivational messages, etc. Or it can be used as part of a blended learning program where students will take the online course prior to a face-to-face workshop. Now, in the GCP context, the primary use is as a standalone online course. Because the people who the course is aimed at are extremely busy, primary need is for flexibility, and the most flexible approach is via standalone online courses. The other component here is that you can deliver the course through your own environment. If you have a virtual learning environment like Moodle or Blackboard, you can put the course into your environment, or you can use our environment. In this context, GCP, most of the institutions we work with use our environment. And it's very simple. If you subscribe to this program, then anybody with an email address from your institution can access the courses for free in our portal. So the process is that you subscribe, and then you simply send an email out to your staff saying, please go here, take the course, and you can ask them to send you the certificate when they've completed it, or you can log on to the system and see who has completed it. So it's a very simple way to get up and running, and the administration burden is very low. So what support is available? Well, we understand that many of you perhaps not engaged with online learning before, or even if you have engaged with online learning support before, you need guidance and support to use this particular technology. And so we provide you with all the technical support you need to get up and running, and then we also provide ongoing support. We can also give you organizational support to produce a plan and train your staff so you can get started without delay. So perhaps unusually, Epigeum has relationships with many institutions who are already using this course, and we can show you how others are using it, how it works for them, etc. So what are the benefits of using this course? Well, you can save time and money compared to building the program in-house. So as you're probably aware, building online courses of this nature is extremely time-consuming and complicated, and puts a huge burden on staff, where if you subscribe to this course, you can be up and running very, very quickly. You can free up face-to-face time for deeper learning through a blended learning approach. So in the GCP context, face-to-face workshops are a precious resource. Bringing people together is very hard. And what it means is when you do have this face-to-face time, you can use it for deeper learning, application of course concepts, etc. You can make greater use of that. Perhaps the most important benefit is flexible access, so anywhere, anytime, on any device. So in this context, this is particularly important. And if you look at the usage stats, you'll see that many doctors in particular are logging on Sunday evening. You can also tailor the courses to your needs with our implementation support. So if you want to adapt the courses or change the courses, this is possible. Right, I'll now hand over to Sarah, who will show you the courses and really bring this presentation to life.
I'm now going to give a brief demonstration of some of the screens and features of the Good Clinical Practice program. I thought I'd begin by giving a very brief overview of the program. It consists of 5 courses of between 60 and 120 minutes each. The courses cover clinical trials, protocols and associated documents, the different applications, agreements and approvals involved in conducting a clinical trial, trial master files, essential tasks when conducting a clinical trial, and adverse events and safety reporting. The program has been accredited by the Royal College of Physicians for a total of 7 distance learning credits. To begin with, I'll show you the program introduction screen. This appears at the beginning of each of the 5 GCP courses and aims to set the program in context by explaining how good clinical practice regulations came about and the 14 principles behind them. I'll begin by highlighting a few features relevant to all our courses or screens. At the top of every screen, we have a learning outcome, so the course participants are aware of what is going to be covered in the screen and what they should have learned or should be able to do after completing that screen. We also offer an estimated duration for each screen so that participants have an idea of how long it is likely to take to work through the screen. You'll see that on the right-hand side of each screen we have these little boxes, or pods as we like to call them, which contain supplementary information, links, definitions, downloads, and other opportunities for extended learning beyond the reach of the program. On this screen we have a useful links pod, which links to various helpful online resources relating to the screen content. Now moving into the main content on this screen, and you'll see that this screen makes use of video to set the GCP program in context. Here we use the combination of graphics, archive footage and interviews to outline the inception of the Nuremberg Code and the Medicines Act. We try to use video as much as possible in our courses as it really helps to bring the material to life.
At the Hall of Justice in Nuremberg, history's greatest trial nears its fateful close.
After the Second World War, it was discovered that in the Nazi concentration camps there had been medical experimentation.
Subjecting individuals to appalling research practices involving excruciating pain, irrespective of the interest of the research subject.
The doctors doing the Nazi experiments.
It's worth noting here that all the videos have a transcript for accessibility purposes. It's also worth noting that all of our course screens have a text version, so the course is fully accessible to those using screen readers or who are unable to use the interactive version for any reason. This screen demonstrates another kind of video used to great effect in the GCP program, a video drama or case study featuring an example clinical trial. This same example is used in videos throughout the courses, highlighting different stages of the clinical trial process and the related GCP issues.
So you've read the paper about the Inovamet study?
Yes, I have.
Interesting findings, what do you think?
Yes, the Inovamet was shown to improve symptoms in asthma.
There have been several similar studies in the past, but mostly small, non-randomized, without control group.
Is that enough evidence to prescribe it for patients?
Often the video will be accompanied by a follow-up activity to help emphasize the learning point or encourage participants to apply the learning point. For example, in one video, course participants see a patient taking part in a consent interview. They are then asked to assess the quality of the interview via a multiple-choice quiz. Moving further into the course, we have another example of how video is used in the program. This screen features an interview with Professor Sarah Rory Collins about ethical considerations in clinical trials, including confidentiality, informed consent, and vulnerable subjects.
The main ethical problem is that there are not enough trial.
In addition to video, I'd like to show you some of the other ways in which the Good Clinical Practice courses effectively convey this often complex information to course participants. Throughout the program, we use what we refer to as presentational activities to present information in a clear, organized, and engaging way. So, for example, on this screen, the activity highlights the 4 categories of documents relating to different kinds of approvals that should be included in the trial master file, and then explains the different documents within each category. This screen shows another good example of key information being presented to course participants in an engaging way. In this activity, a flowchart builds up to illustrate the different types of adverse event covered earlier in the unit. This screen shows another good example of key information being presented to course participants in an engaging way. So we also use graphics to convey information throughout the program. Here we have an example consent form, and course participants can click on the different elements to find out how the form is put together and what details are required. This Venn diagram aims to clearly and concisely present the common issues and errors that occur when working through regulatory and ethics applications before starting a clinical trial. Participants click on the pinpoints to learn more about each item in the diagram. We also use various interactive activities to help course participants learn and to test their understanding and practice or apply key concepts. This activity is an interactive version of the European Commission's algorithm to determine whether a study is a clinical trial or not. This activity provides an engaging way for participants to work through and understand the algorithm steps. They can also download the paper version of the algorithm from the download pod to keep for future reference. On this screen about research ethics committees, participants can learn which kind of research study require review by an ethics committee by carrying out a multiple choice quiz in which they are presented with different types of trials. Participants receive feedback on their answer to each question, and they can view their score throughout the activity. This is an example of an end-of-unit review exercise to help course participants test their understanding of the key terms and concepts covered in the unit. This is another end-of-unit review task. In this activity, course participants are presented with a series of data sources and are asked to classify them according to whether they can or cannot be accessed before informed consent has been given by a subject. Participants receive feedback each time they correctly place an item. Finally, each GCP course ends with 2 practical scenarios. These consist of realistic scenarios followed by a series of multiple choice questions. Feedback is provided for each answer. These application activities are a very engaging and effective way to encourage participants to test and apply what they have learned from each GCP course. I hope I've given you a good taste of the program content and some of the pedagogical features with this demonstration. If you have any questions, please do note them down now or feel free to contact someone at Epigeum after the webinar. I'll now hand back over to David.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. So let's see if we've got any questions. So we've got one question here, which is how are the courses assessed? Well, it really depends on how you use the courses. So all the courses come with multiple choice question-based tests, which are marked by the system. So if you're using this for learning on demand and without tutors, where your participants log on, complete the test on their own at a time they choose, then the computer will mark the multiple choice test and issue a certificate if the students have passed. However, if you have tutors, then you can start introducing human graded assessments, and there's opportunities this throughout the course. So there's, for example, there's practical scenarios, there's opportunities to set questions and have discussion forums, etc. So on the assessment, it really depends how you're using the courses. Okay, any more questions? No? Okay, well, thank you for attending. I hope you found this webinar useful. If you'd like more information on this course, then please either go to our website and you can see how to proceed, or send a mail to my colleague Annie using marketing@epigeum.com, and we'll direct that to the most appropriate person for you. So I hope you found this interesting. It's a really great course, very effective way to deliver this training, and I hope you found this webinar valuable. So thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.